calls Kellie Harper. Coach, if you would start out with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Well, obviously, I'm really excited about this win. This was a great win for our program. I think it was a great win for this team right now. They have been really moving in the right direction in a lot of areas, and we needed to see that pay off. And I'm really happy for them. They dug deep. This is a really good basketball team we played. I mean, really good basketball team that's going to win a lot of games this year. So that is the big time win for us.
Questions for Coach? We'll start with Maria.
Coach, you had to make it interesting, though. Keep the fans engaged. Had a 16-point lead, knocked it down to 2, but your team stayed poised. What was the communication during that Indiana run, and then you guys being able to keep the lead?
Well, I think what happened, they kept scoring in transition, sometimes off of our turnovers, and we went cold. We really couldn't get a bucket. Struggled a little bit. Took a few quick shots that started their break. But I tell you what, coming into the huddle, I'm going over there and I'm going to try to pump them up and get them feeling okay. We can handle this, and they were good. They were good. They were already in a great place mentally. Every time I stepped over to them, the talk, the communication was great. They knew they could do it. And I tell you, going down the stretch, well, let me back up. I felt good about our play. I also knew this was going to come down to a close game. I knew they were going to make a run. That team's really good. And, just so proud of our kids down the stretch. I know they were a little gassed, and they were tough. They were tough going down the stretch and, made plays when we had to make plays. I think somebody told me we had, 4 straight stops in the fourth quarter, and that's big.
Ben?
This was the first vintage Reyna Davis game of the season, at least from a stat sheet perspective of 19 points, 15 rebounds, double-double. Just what did you see from her tonight that allowed her to get going?
Well, first off, I'm going to use that. Thank you for saying vintage Reyna Davis. I'm going to use that term, and I'll give you credit for it, Ben. I appreciate it. Really, she looked good. She got a couple of easier buckets around the basket. She had a couple of putbacks. She got a layup. I think actually a couple layups. And that Reyna needs to be effective all over the court, not just shooting. And when she's active and moving around, she does that. Her jumper looked good. She had a couple that she made right in front of our bench, and they looked so good. Her first shot of the game went in and out. I mean, it looked good, just didn't go in. So we knew Reyna was going to make shots. We knew at some point she was going to make shots, and I didn't really have a concern about her play. It's going to happen. Just wanted to make sure she stayed confident through a little bit of a shooting slump.
Maria?
Coach, you mentioned that your gas tanks were getting kind of low. Part of that was obviously you were missing players. The most noticeable one, of course, is Keegan Green. If you could just update us on Keegan Green's status right now.
Yeah, so Keegan sustained a lower leg injury and is likely going to miss the season at this point. It was a big blow to our team. She, in the short time that she's been a Lady Vol, she has made a huge impact on our program, on our team. She is a very mature, great voice in the locker room, great competitor, works hard. So our team was, they were talking about her. They missed her. We also lost, didn't have Jaden. Jaden's a day-to-day right now after a head injury. So we'll hopefully, we're hopeful that we'll get her back at some point.
Sue?
Hey, hi, Coach. You had mentioned that you guys are moving in some positive directions, and you saw that today. Can you elaborate on maybe what a few of those things were?
Well, I think for us, prioritizing defense. We gave up some easy buckets in transition, but we got in a half court. I thought our team was locked in to guard most of the time, and proud of them for that. I think the competitiveness and the focus was really important. going down the stretch, everybody was locked in on what you have to do to beat a good team like that. You've got to be locked in for 40 minutes. And I thought we were. I thought even when they were making runs in the, in that third quarter, fourth quarter, still thought our team did a really good job of staying locked into the next play. We may not have executed it, but they were locked in, knew what we needed to do. So I think those things are good. I still think obviously there are a lot of things we can get better at, but really proud of them for really showing some of that growth.
Thanks so much.
Ben?
Coach, what have you seen from Jordan the last couple of weeks, Jordan Horston, and what did you see from her tonight? She really stuffed the stat sheet positively, and seems like she's taken that big jump from her freshman year to her sophomore year, or about to do so.
She's been motivated in practice. She's been motivated, and I think she's come out and I think she's played through mistakes better. I think she has she's played with a confidence. She's played looks comfortable out there, and she can really guard, and I think she's really taken that on as well. So I think for her, she just looks like she feels good on the court, right? And when Jordan Horston feels good on the court, she can make shots, she can drive, she can dish, she can rebound, she can defend, she can do a little bit of everything. And at her frame and her size, that's tough for opponents.
Maria?
Coach, with Keegan out, Tamari and Cassie were already very important pieces of the team, but they become even more important right now. And of course, Emily Saunders. You lost Cassie and Tamari, 5 fouls each. I know that's an issue y'all been talking about, but how frustrating is that, especially for both of them too?
Well, when you lose 2 post players going into a game, you don't want the ones on the court to foul. We've talked about it. So we've got to continue to work on that. They've got to be able to play a little bit cleaner. They're going to get some fouls. That's going to happen. So we've got to control the ones we can control. We've got to be a little bit smarter with some of those. So I tell you, Emily came in and gave us great minutes. I was really proud of her. And, I think what we're going to have to figure out is kind of that rotation at the 4 spot with Marta and Cassie, and, figure out if Jaden's not back, are we looking at 4 guards some?
Ben?
What does this win do from a confidence standpoint for your basketball team that has a lot of new pieces to it this season?
I think this win is critical. I think they have been they've been listening to the staff. They've been really trying to do what we've asked them to do, and we needed to see the success. We needed to see the payoff on the court, and I tell you, couldn't have found it at a better place. I mean, this is a really big win because they know how good this basketball team is.
Maria?
Sorry, I spend most of these Zooms at home holding off Kat so I can get through it. The flight home from West Virginia, obviously disappointing. The flight home from Texas, kind of a bizarre situation. Didn't get to play. What's the flight home tonight going to be like?
That's much happier. I tell you, that Texas flight, it was a big bummer flying home. I was proud of our team's effort against West Virginia, but you just got to get those. If you're close, you got to get one. And so I couldn't be happier. I'm so proud of them right now. I told them my heart was bursting. I was so proud of them, and I'm so happy for them to get this win.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.